Hello everyone. Today we will start to talk about the games that happened in the series The Queen's Gambit. I don't know if you watched that series, probably yes, but if you didn't check it, it's a nice series, and I think it's pretty accurate also in the games. I think that some Grandmaster help in doing the game scenes. So the first game that we will analyze is the one between Beth Harmon and Harry Beltik, the one that happened during the Kentucky Championship, and is a game inspired by a game of 1955, played between Rashid Niyazmedinov and Genrik Kasparian. So Beth is white and Beltic is black, and Beth opened with we have c6, knight f3, and a classic Caro-Kann. Here d5, knight c3, and bishop g4, and this variation is called two knights, Mindeno variation. Here Beth replied with h3, asking to the bishop, what do you want to do? And Beltic traded, so take. And now that the bishop is gone, Beltic replaced his function with the pawns on the light square. He didn't trade because otherwise, after knight takes, I think he loses control. He loses control of the c4 square. So plans like d4 and c4 start to be a bit annoying, let's say. So g3. Now we have to find a new location for the bishop. Beth decided to go for g3. We have g6, bishop g2, and bishop g7. Castle, knight d7, normal stuff. Queen e2, and trade, and push. Sorry, and this is a really interesting move. So Beth decided to let the black expand in the center because then after knight b1 and plans like here the black will support the pawn for sure. After e4 we have plans like d3 and a4, knight a3, knight c4, because this square that before was blocked by the d5 pawn now is available, and you do a4 just to fix the knight on the c4 square. Otherwise, in a lot of positions, there are ideas like to expand in the queen side and to kick away the knight. And another thing to be careful of is that plan of white, the plans for white are in general this one with d3 and knight c4 and a4, but also f4, f5, and f6, and try to create a pawn storm like in I don't remember the structure, what is called, like the Grand Prix attack, I think is that. But anyway, no more words. So if I d3, knight e7, and f4. Okay, we have queen c7, and here a4 to develop the knight via a3 to c4. And maybe you are asking why not d2, because there is no reason. If the knight wants to go on c4, there is no reason to block the bishop, and for sure the knight will not go on f3 because it will just annoying white pieces from coordinate for an attack. So here we have castle and f5, f6 to prevent white from playing f6. Here knight d2, bishop h6 to trade some pieces, and here king h2, not a great move, but white has a positional advantage, so king h2 is made maybe in the future to push even further the king, the pawns on the king side. The first reason is this. The second reason is that another plan for white is to this is black center. So here this diagonal is kinda. closed now, but white wants also to sorry wants also to push on c3, and maybe if this pawn goes away, now the king is covered from the checks. So king h8, prophylactic move, and he Beth took, and knight f3. And here trade, rook takes c1, and knight c5. Okay, so c3. White try to destabilize black center and induce the move knight knight b3. So rook d1 and rook d8. Okay, and we start an attack here. This move is not super precise. Here, black should play king g7, and after bishop f3, there is this idea of remaneuver the knight on c5 to put pressure to first trade, and then to put pressure on the d3 pawn and also on the a4 pawn. So I will show you a variation. So after bishop g4, trade, take, and black is just up a pawn. Instead, the game went like this. Here, here black didn't play king g7, but played queen c8. So the difference is this, that if we go for the same variation with knight c5, after no, sorry, here just take. If we go for the same variation with d takes c5, b takes, and knight c5, here we have queen e3, and this comes with check instead. With the king on g7 was not available, this variation. So after bishop f3, we have queen e6, bishop g4, just expand for an attack, and black retreats for defending. Here, knight f3, just some remaneuver, and f5 is not possible because this knight is hanging, this pawn is hanging. So here we have queen g8 and h4, just to push even further the pawns, maybe with ideas in the future of king g2 and rook h1. So king g7, just going away from the file that it can be open, and here rook f2, rook d6, and rook f1, and black doesn't know what to do, so play rook d8 again, and here we have queen c2, and we start the action. So after this move, there is h5 to open everything, and black plays c5, but then Beth took, trade, and black pushed, but there is a counter attack, and here black wants to open, white wants to open all this area of the board and to attack black king. So trade, sacrifice a pawn, and here push. So an important moment here we have push f5, an inaccuracy. More accurate was queen h8 check, and after king g2 do something like knight d5, try to do a fork, but activate a bit white pieces, and if this happens, just rook sorry, takes is not this one, 93, and there is a fork, sorry. Yeah, here is is evening, and I'm a bit tired, so I'm not able to speak a proper English, but it is what it is. So I was saying queen h8 was more accurate, but black pushed for pushed f5, and here Beth took, and here is the important moment. Okay, so this move is not available because there is rook takes f8. So we have instead we have rook h8 check only move and bishop h3 and here black blundered and traded and took the pawn on g6 and this tactic is crazy. But I will show you first what black should have played. Black should have played rook d3 to just to disconnect the queen from this area, and instead took. And after this move, there is just king g8, but it's not so clear the situation anyway. After I did some sequence of moves, the situation becomes well, is more or less even, but really difficult to play for black. But anyway, black traded, took the pawn on g6, and here white played rook f7 check, and and this is a nice tactic. I didn't see it at first um, because I saw that we could think that maybe there is rook takes, queen takes, rook takes, king takes, and after that there is a check on f2 that wins the rook. But with this variation, the problem is not that we win the rook, but because there is knight f4 that is pretty crazy. You sacrifice a full knight just because then there is rook d3 and this bishop is lost. And if we try to do something like, if we try to prevent, we lose because then there is just this move. And if we trade everything, the pawn will promote. So, rook f7 check works because after queen takes, rook takes, and king takes, there is queen f5 check. The king has to go on g7 to cover the knight, but then there is f6 check. And again, only two moves to cover the knight are h6 and h7. So, but it doesn't make any difference. Here we play knight f5, bishop f5, and after we try to protect the knight, there is e6, and this game is this position is winning for white. So here, white sacrifice the give a check on f7, and after king h6, sacrifice the queen because is a forced mate in 6. So king takes, and if you want to try to solve it, let's pause the video. Uh, I will go on. So check, king g5, check, king g6, check again, and after this sequence of checks, the king has to go on h7, and the rook, the bishop is not pinned anymore. So after king h7, there is bishop f5, checkmate. And Beth won against Beltik, and Beltik was well. Beth was the first tournament, so it was a uh, non classified. I think maybe not classified. In Italian, we say non classificato. But anyway, Beth didn't have any FIDE rating at that point, and Beltic was around 2150. So a good result, I have to say. And this was the first game, so really interesting, really in the well, is was played by Nietmedinov, so I don't know if you ever saw some games of Nietmedinov, but are pretty crazy. Great player, a great attacking player. same as Tal, I would say. A lot of crazy sacrifice, crazy attacks, really entertaining games. Check it if you want. And this was the game. So we will cover also the other ones of this series. And I hope you enjoyed the game in general. And if you want to stay updated to see also the other games, the review, feel free to subscribe or to leave a like and let me in general, let me know what you think in the comments. And see you in the next video.